Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and cherished members of the community, it is with great pleasure and honor that I welcome you all to the opening ceremony of the National Historic Landmark Designation for the Rio Vista Farm. Before we proceed, I kindly ask that you all please rise as we prepare to present the colors, courtesy of the City of Socorro and the City of Horizon Color Guard. Gentlemen, please take off your caps, and everyone, please silence your cell phones. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we stand in reflection and gratitude for the sacrifices made by those who have served and continue to serve our great nation, let us observe a moment of silence. Thank you. You may now be seated. And now, without further ado, it is my distinct honor to introduce the Mayor of the City of Socorro, Texas, Ivy Avalos, who will share a few words to mark the beginning of this momentous event. Mayor Avalos, the podium is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and beloved residents of Socorro. Today marks a momentous occasion in the history of our beloved community, as we gather here to celebrate the National Historic Landmark Dedication for the Rio Vista Farm. It is with immense pride and gratitude that I stand before you, honored to welcome each and every one of you to this historic event. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to all of our distinguished partners who have been instrumental in making this day possible. To our esteemed colleagues at the local, state, and federal levels, your unwavering support and dedication have been the driving force behind this monumental achievement. Today, we have overcome obstacles and challenges navigating through changes in administrations, and even enduring the trials of a global pandemic. Yet through it all, our collective determination has never wavered. I must express my deepest gratitude to President Biden and Secretary of the Interior, Deb Haaland, for bestowing upon us this prestigious honor. Your recognition of Rio Vista Farm as a National Historic Landmark is not only a testament to its rich cultural significance, but also a tribute to the enduring legacy of the brave individuals who have toiled on this land. As we stand on the threshold of a new chapter in the history of Socorro, it is fitting to envision the future of Rio Vista Farm as a beacon of hope and opportunity for generations to come. With great excitement, I am thrilled to announce that the future use of this site will be nothing short of transformative. It will house Socorro's first ever public library, providing a space where knowledge and imagination can flourish. Additionally, a clinic will serve as a cornerstone of healthcare accessibility, ensuring that our community members have access to the vital services they need. And perhaps most importantly, the establishment of the Bracero Museum and Cultural Center. Thank you. Will honor the invaluable contributions of the Bracero Program participants, preserving their legacy for future generations to learn from and cherish. This journey has been a labor of love spanning over a decade, but today as we gather in celebration, we are filled with pride and optimism for the bright future that lies ahead. Rio Vista Farm will not only be a symbol of our past, but a testament to our resilience, our unity, and our unwavering commitment to building a better tomorrow for all who call Socorro home. In closing, let us remember that while today marks the culmination of years of hard work and dedication, it also signifies the beginning of a new chapter in our collective story. May we carry forward the spirit of collaboration and community that has brought us to this moment as we continue to write the next chapters of our shared history together. Thank you, and may Rio Vista forever stand as a beacon of hope, inspiration, and pride for generations to come.
Está bien, así hay. Bueno, por lo pronto, mi nombre es Sebastián Corral, que vengo de Vado, Nuevo México. Llegué aquí, a este centro, en 1953. Y en ese tiempo nos sacaban a distintas partes del país, pero yo no tuve más que Nuevo México, Texas, Colorado y Wyoming. En esos tres estados estuve trabajando yo. De allí para allá entraba y salía de México, de Chihuahua a Chihuahua. Y aquí me quedé ya en que malas experiencias, no cabe duda, pero a la vez experiencias buenas, porque tengo a toda mi familia aquí y toda está estudiando y todos están trabajando y todo lo bonito de ellos. Yo me le he pasado con ellos desde entonces, pero anteriormente solo yo aquí, mi señora sola con los niños allá en Delicias, Chihuahua. Recuerdo muchas cosas de aquí, de este centro, cuando nos pasaban allá de Juárez aquí al Paso, que nos echaban insecticidas para quitarnos, yo creo, la mugre que traíamos de allá, yo creo. Nos hacían que nos desarrollaran la ropa y con unas bombas de esas de aire nos echaban ese veneno. Llegábamos aquí y nos metían a unos jacalones a bañarnos. Nos bañaban así como bañaban a 2 vacas en los establos. Así nos bañaban a nosotros aquí. Nos bañaban con sprinkles y nos daban jabón para que nos enjabonáramos y que nos secáramos y teníamos que secarnos con la misma ropa. Con esa nos secábamos nosotros. Hasta que empezaban a pedir los rancheros gente para la labor. Y la primera parte que me tocó a mí fue en Doñana, que le dicen el condado de las flores, le decían antes a Doñana. Ahí nos la pasaban piscando algodón hasta septiembre, octubre y noviembre. Y de allí nos entregaban a la asociación, o ya fuera aquí, y de aquí nos despachaban para México. Esperar las otras contrataciones que se venían en mayo. Era mayo y septiembre cuando había las contrataciones. Y ansia le daban a uno que no se llegaba a eso para revolcarse para acá. Pero de lo bueno sale poquito, de lo malo sale poquito bueno, como les acabo de decir ahorita. Todo lo que saqué bueno es que tengo a toda mi familia aquí. Primeramente que nada fui bracero. Enseguida de bracero fui ilegal. Después de ilegal fui residente permanente. Después de permanente llegué a ciudadano americano. Para poder llegar hasta aquí. Hace como un año o poquito más que me convertí en ciudadano americano. Nunca pensaba yo volver a llegar a este sitio donde estamos ahorita, en las condiciones que llegamos, unas condiciones completamente pésimas de a tiro, de lo más que lo humillaban a uno, lo humillaban en realidad. Se sentía uno humillado en todas formas. Lo ponían en los trabajos más duros que había aquí en Estados Unidos, ahí lo ponían a uno. Por eso le pusieron el nombre de bracero, porque trabajaban con puro brazo trabajábamos. Si era la pizca del algodón, si era el desaje del betabel, si era el desaje de la lechuga, del repollo, todo eso a puro brazo, para ganarse uno 10, 15 dólares, trabajando desde que salía el sol hasta que se metía el sol, por 10 o 15 dólares. Y que siente uno a veces, pues sí, discriminado, que lo discriminan a uno de una forma. Les voy a platicar. En una ocasión trabajaba yo en Doñana y un sábado salía al Paso y andaba ahí por la calle del Paso y me dio hambre y me metí a un restaurante a comer. ¿Cuál sería mi sorpresa? De que llegué allí y no se me quiso servir nada a mí. Simplemente le pregunté yo al mesero, cuando llegó el mesero y me dijo, sabe que no lo podemos atender. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué no me pueden atender? Simplemente porque es mexicano. Salí de ahí acordándome de toda la familia de ellos. Porque no me pareció a mí nada bien eso. Pues ahí salí a buscar otro restaurante donde me pudieran atender, pero eso me pasó en ese restaurante. Que espero que ya no exista ese restaurante. Pues ya es todo lo que tengo que decirles. Y que ahora me siento aquí orgulloso de estar aquí, pero en estas condiciones no como las de antes. Y muchas gracias por todo.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have another round of applause for our Bracero process here at the Rio Vista site, Mr. Corral. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium County Commissioner for Precinct 3, and that includes Socorro, if you're unaware, Ileana Olguin.
Good evening, Socorro. It is such an honor to be here with all of you this evening as we celebrate the designation of the Rio Vista Farm here in the City of Socorro as a National Historic Landmark. The National Historic Landmark Designation is the highest designation of historic significance in the United States, and Rio Vista Farm is only the second National Historic Landmark in all of El Paso County. And it is right here in the beautiful and historic city of Socorro. While this site is only one of 2 designated sites in El Paso County, it is the only National Historic Landmark plaque with a federal designation in both English and Spanish, ensuring the continuing celebration of our region's culture, heritage, and language. We are incredibly lucky to still have facilities such as these to remind us of and connect us to our very proud history in this region. Those of us from this area know the importance not only of celebrating our region's traditions and culture, but also of protecting our heritage and our history. And I can't think of a better place to serve as a protector of our history than the city of Socorro, a city where so many of the families who live here have been here for generations and who are proud to say that this area will always be their home. I want to give a very special thank you to the leadership of the City of Socorro for understanding the importance of initiatives such as this one and for making these types of projects a priority for our community. Thank you, Mayor Avalos and the City Council of the City of Socorro for your vision and foresight and for all that you continue to do to support and promote the city's historic preservation efforts. I also want to thank the staff and the volunteers of the City of Socorro. As is the case with any governmental entity, it is the staff and volunteers whose hard work and effort makes projects such as this one a reality. To the staff and the volunteers of the City of Socorro, thank you for your unwavering dedication and for always looking for ways to improve our community for the betterment of our residents. We are here today because of you, and we thank you for all of your hard work and commitment and everything that you've done to see that this project comes to fruition. Thank you once again to each and every one of you, and congratulations on this tremendous achievement. Thank you.
It is my honor to welcome our County Judge, Ricardo Samaniego, to the podium.
Welcome. This is the closest I've gone to walk on a runway. I felt I was modeling coming up here. I want to thank you, all of you, because I think we finally have come to the conclusion that our stories and who we are as a community has to become and come to fruition, not only for us, but for the entire country, if not the entire world. And I thank all of you because we have a big challenge, and that is that our community needs to embrace what we have more so than anybody else before we start trying to get others to understand it. So everyone that's here, I really thank you that you have that commitment and that understanding. I want to go back to our incredible Mr. Corral, Sebastian. I don't know, it's just so heartfelt. Because a designation is not only going to be a place where you come and visit, but it's a call to action. You know, we're in the front. I'm very fortunate. You have a tremendous commissioner in this area. You know, the commissioner's court. But we're in the front row of immigration. And we get to see the suffering and everything that happens. And when you hear Sebastian talk about what's happening, don't forget that it's still happening. It just takes a different direction. Now it's human trafficking, the abuse that individuals go through as they're coming here, and every contribution that our immigrants have made in our country and who we are is because of them, and we need to honor them. And so when we close the doors to immigrants, you would have closed the door to Sebastian, for example. Wouldn't that have been a sad story that we had closed the door to a gentleman that has so much commitment? Look at the faith that he has. La fe que tienen los inmigrantes por todo lo que sufren y por todo lo que pasan, los hacen personas increíblemente mejor, más fuertes, y van a contribuir mejor que muchos de nosotros. and you could see what he's gone through. I want to challenge most of us. I wish I had the ability to articulate the way he did. The clearer, the ability to capture and talk about that story. So please, as we look at these historical markers, it's not only a place that you come and visit, but it's a place that you grasp, you embrace, and you do everything possible to make a difference. You don't come here to leave and say, wow, that was great, but that it changes you. Because every one of you, because you're here, are going to be advocates. I always tell people, don't go to a gala, a fundraiser, and walk away. What was it, the message? What were we trying to accomplish? So each one of you now are honorary advocates of the Bracero Program, and that we need. That was about the closest, as bad as it was the closest pathway to some people, which is pretty sad. But we need legal pathways so that we can help others come to our community. So de nuevo, les doy las gracias con todo corazón. De veras, make it your point that El Paso is probably the only community left. This is the last frontier of humanity, of being open to migrants, of receiving them, of taking care of them, of giving them dignity. We're the last frontier. We drop our guard, we drop our benchmark, and everyone else will drop it a little further down. So les doy muchas gracias, because this is one of the most beautiful communities, and when we decide to come together, we come together. So come together for our migrants, help us be more successful as they come through here. And we're not asking for open borders. We're asking that when they get here and they're being processed, that they're dignified like anybody else. De nuevo, felicidades to all the partners, felicidades a todas las personas que tienen el corazón para de veras ser una comunidad que sabemos la diferencia, tenemos los valores y el coraje para hacer lo que tenemos que hacer. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Judge. It is my honor to welcome Consulado General de México en El Paso, Mauricio Ibarra Ponce de León, to the podium.
Gracias. Muy buenas tardes a todos. Good evening. It is a pleasure for me to be here today. I am honored to be here and be part of this honorable group of speakers. I would like to thank the City of Socorro for this invitation to this important event. Also, let me congratulate the City of Socorro for the recognition of Rio Vista Farm as a National Historic Landmark. First, for what was then known as a poor farm, where children were sheltered and supported during the Great Depression, and many years later, as the point of entry and processing center for Mexican participants in the Bracero Program. I believe the work done in this site in benefit and support of all sorts of vulnerable people is something that we need to think about. Me parece que es importante destacar a la granja de Rio Vista, sobre todo porque como monumento histórico continuará siendo testamento de las aportaciones de muchos braceros mexicanos que trabajaron de mañana a noche en el campo y en el ferrocarril en este país durante y después de la Segunda Guerra Mundial. I'm talking about the contributions the braceros made in those days. As the Consul General of Mexico for this region, it gives me a perfect opportunity to briefly highlight some points about the Mexican community living in the U.S. and their current contributions to key sectors of the U.S. economy, including agriculture, services, and construction. First, something that you probably already know is that there are 37.3 million Mexicans living in the U.S. Of those, 26.7 million are of second and third generation, and 10.6 were born in Mexico. We estimate that approximately 5.3 million are undocumented here in the U.S. But now that you know the size of the Mexican community in the U.S., let me tell you that the Mexican community earns $324.8 billion a year. Of that amount, they send to Mexico $63.3 billion, which is 18.5% in remittances. They send it in remittances to Mexico. Therefore, it means that 81.5 or $265 billion are reinvested in the U.S. economy. Another simple fact that I wanted to talk to you about is that 7 out of every 10 agricultural workers in the U.S. are of Mexican origin. And that is the reason why, during the pandemic, the Mexican agricultural workers were considered essential personnel. With just these few facts in mind, I wanted to talk to you about the contributions of Mexicans in the U.S. in the framework of this National Historic Landmark unveiling, because millions of Mexican Americans can in fact trace their roots to a relative that entered the U.S. as a bracero, and most probably enter through one of these historic buildings that we are seeing tonight. And again, having Rio Vista Farm recognized as a National Historic Landmark will be a continuous reminder of those Mexicans that came to work during complicated moments, were successful, and left a legacy in the U.S., such as Mr. Sebastián Corral. With that, I would like to congratulate again the City of Socorro and to El Paso del Norte region for this memorable day. Thank you very much.
I would like to welcome our state representative, Mary Gonzalez, to share a few words and a special gift for the City of Socorro.
Sorry, love. Hello, how y'all feeling okay? There goes my pen. Y'all feeling okay today? Yes? What a wonderful day. When I think about today, I think about one of my favorite quotes. History is not a burden of memory, but an illumination of the soul. And this place is an illumination of the beautiful soul of Socorro. A soul that is centered on family and generations, a soul that is resilient through hope, a soul that fights injustice through a facilitation of community and culture. There is power in place. And I'm so grateful that the leaders of our community, both elected and community leaders, have really worked so hard to make sure that we are preserving such an important part of our community soul. I hope that today, like the judge mentioned, not only is a special moment for us to recognize the historical background of this place, but also the need for us to preserve all the historical places in the borderland region. Because history matters. And history tells us not only of who we are, but what we can be. And so for that reason, I'm very honored to spend this very special day with y'all. I'm in much gratitude to the leaders like Mayor Avalos, to all of the community members, and to all the generations of people who lived here who made this place this powerful place. In order to symbolize a special moment, I'm not going to read it, but I'll give it to the mayor after. We do have a resolution from the state of Texas. Congratulations on this important landmark. May we not only preserve this place and our history, but the history of the entire borderland region. Thank you.
Coming to the podium is the Executive Director for Latinos and Heritage Conservation, Seila Mota Casper.
Good evening, everyone. Before I begin, I'd like to extend a heartfelt welcome to everyone present, especially to any braceros or their descendants who are here with us today. You honor us with your presence, and we deeply appreciate you being here today. Señor Coral, su presencia es un gran honor, y les agradecemos profundamente que estás aquí con nosotros hoy. From its humble beginnings, sheltering elders and orphan children, Rio Vista Farm has always been about community, by fostering connections and nurturing shared experience, serving as a beacon of hope for workers during the Works Progress Administration era, and in the 50s, when it welcomed braceros with both the American and a Mexican flag as braceros took their first steps into the United States. It is in that spirit we led the effort to have Rio Vista Farm designated as a National Historic Landmark, one of the highest bestowed designations within our federal system. This achievement would not have been possible without the dedication of many people. A special thank you to my previous team and Amy Webb at the National Trust for Historic Preservation, the City of Socorro, as well as those including the mayor, city manager, and Victor, for their unwavering dedication and partnership. Dr. Yolanda Chavez Leyva and her expertise and guidance, Gary Williams, the National Park Service, Preservation Texas, Texas Historical Commission, and our multiple partners and consultants along the way. Most importantly, we are deeply grateful to the braceros who shared their stories and their families who entrusted us with their history. As we reflect on this historic designation journey, we honor the memories of those braceros who shared their stories with us and have since passed on, recognizing their vital role in our research and shaping the history that we're commemorating this evening. Today marks a milestone for Rio Vista Farm, for braceros across the United States and Mexico, and their families who carry their legacy. Our national park system tells the story of our nation and preserves the histories of people and movements and everything that shapes the United States. That's what makes this designation so special. Here at this National Historic Landmark, braceros will forever hold their place in American history. They stand alongside iconic figures such as civil rights marchers on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the legacy of Cesar Chavez, and the historical significance of La Paz National Historic Landmarks. Each bracero is honored for their contributions and service, even under challenging recruitments, as we heard earlier, and even in such harsh work circumstances. This recognition enriches our historical narrative, reflecting the multiple layers and experiences that defines American culture. Now, braceros, familias, children, descendants, and visitors alike have a place to see themselves reflected in our park system. Rio Vista Farm stands as a poignant symbol commemorating the enduring journey of countless families whose arrival narratives echo the resilience and contribution that shaped our nation's foundation. It is akin to the narratives etched in the halls of Ellis Island. This designation is also a remarkable milestone for Latinx historic preservation nationwide. With each nomination such as this, we ensure a more inclusive telling of American history and one that accurately reflects the Latino-Latinx experience. It makes clear that Mexican and Latino history is American history. I am honored to have been part of this work. Thank you all for being here tonight, and a special thank you once again to the millions of braceros and their immense contributions to our nation.
Thank you, Selah. Coming to the podium is Amy Webb with the National Trust for Historic Preservation.
As I look around me this evening, I can imagine all of the stories that the buildings that you can see to our side, the side here, have to tell for us. Imagine going back, turning the time clock back and thinking about World War II. And at that time, 1,500 men a day were coming to this site. What were they feeling? They must have been, hungry, tired after a long journey, facing a lot of testing that they had to go through at this processing center, and unclear about where they were going to go from here. So then let's jump ahead. Anyway, jumping ahead to what this is today, it is so wonderful that this site still stands and that it is going to continue to be a place where people can hear that story. The Braceros who came here often left so much behind, their families, their culture, and although they provided critical and valuable services here in the U.S., we know that they faced difficult and often inhumane working conditions while they were here. The story of the Braceros is an important one. It is a story that has helped to shape our country, and it is a story that should be told in textbooks along with the other stories about the most significant events of the past that have made our country what it is today. The International Coalition of Sites of Conscience has said that a site of conscience is a place of memory that prevents erasure from happening in order to foster a more just and humane society today. They provide safe spaces to remember and preserve even the most traumatic memories and enable their visitors to make connections between the past and contemporary human rights issues. The Bracero story is part of the full American story, and this place is important because it helps to tell that story. Rio Vista's history reveals a nationally significant yet overlooked side of the American experience and remains a testament to the stories and contributions of the many skilled Mexican guest workers brought to the U.S. to aid with farm labor shortages across America during World War II. Today, the national importance of the Rio Vista Bracero Processing Center is being recognized with this designation as a National Historic Landmark. For those of you who don't know, this is the highest designation that a site can receive. It means that Rio Vista is joining a rarefied list of some of our nation's most significant historic places. Here in Texas, that includes places like the Alamo and the Apollo Mission Control Center, and nationally it includes sites like the U.S. Capitol and the White House. This well-deserved designation comes after more than 8 years of work by so many individuals and organizations at the local, state, and national level. In particular, I want to call out Victor's local leadership here with the City of Socorro and Selah Mota Casper, who was then part of our staff at the National Trust for Historic Preservation and who came to us in 2015 in a search for Latinx sites that had the potential to be a National Historic Landmark and said, "I think I found one." Selah, you did. Much has happened since 2015, not just to recognize the significance of this site, but also work to understand the preservation needs of the buildings and work to find ways to share the important stories about the memory, the many thousands of Braceros who passed through this site. Architectural studies have been completed by preservation architects, and funding for critical stabilization work has been secured. A guidebook for Rio Vista has been completed. And thanks to generous support from the Mellon Foundation, this site will be the future home of a museum dedicated to the Bracero story. I am proud that the National Trust for Historic Preservation has been able to play a small part in helping to make this National Historic Landmark designation a reality. So much has already been accomplished, and I am looking forward to seeing many more good things happen at this site to teach future generations about this important legacy. Thank you, and again, congratulations.
I would now like to welcome from the National Park Service, Astrid Liverman.
Good evening and thank you. I am honored to represent the National Park Service today as we dedicate the 2 bronze plaques commemorating Rio Vista Bracero Reception Center's role in Latino history, one in Spanish and one in English, to reflect the deep importance of this heritage and the inclusion of all American stories. As Secretary Haaland noted in her remarks at a White House event earlier this week, representation matters. There are 2,635 NHLs in the U.S., which sounds like a lot, but it's actually a very select company. There are more than 98,900 properties listed in the National Register of Historic Places, which means that fewer than 3 out of every 100 historic places in America are National Historic Landmarks. Now Rio Vista is one of them, as Texas's 50th. By another means of counting, Rio Vista is the 21st National Historic Landmark Designation under the American Latino Heritage Theme Study, which seeks to better identify and celebrate the last 2 centuries of contributions, places, individuals, and stories of these communities. And I should note there is much more work to be done on that front. We at the National Park Service are thrilled about your milestone, and it truly is your milestone, your dedication to this process, your creation of strong partnerships, your vision, and your clear desire to honor the Bracero story created this success. The great thing about National Historic Landmarks is that although we at the Park Service keep track of the official list, the vast majority of owners and stewards of America's National Historic Landmarks are people and entities like you. They are local communities, property owners, and citizens who cared and then acted to protect and promote these treasures. The list contains every kind of place and feature imaginable, and now Socorro can celebrate Texas's newest addition to the list, the Rio Vista Bracero Reception Center, National Historic Landmark. Congratulations.
And now it's time for a closing. Ladies and gentlemen, today marks a monumental moment in the history of Socorro, Texas. For 10 years, we've embarked on a journey fueled by passion, dedication, and unwavering love for our city and its rich Latino heritage. As your historic preservation officer, it's both an honor and a privilege to stand before you on this auspicious occasion. The Rio Vista Farm, nestled in the heart of West Texas desert, holds within its walls stories of resilience, determination, and the vibrant culture of our Latino community. It is not merely a piece of land, it is a testament to the struggles and triumphs of generations, both past and present. A jewel that shines brightly amidst the rugged terrain. Today, as we stand on the brink of achieving an NHL, National Historic Landmark Designation for Rio Vista Farm, we cannot help but be filled with emotion. This achievement is a testament to the dedication and hard work of countless individuals, but none more so than the incredible staff who has stood by my side throughout this journey. As we stand here on this momentous day, I can't help but think of the brave braceros whose sweat and toil helped shape the very land upon which we stand. Their contributions to our community, our nation, and indeed to the world are immeasurable. It is with deep reverence and gratitude that we dedicate this effort to them and their families. I would also like to include 2 others in the record who are sadly not here to share this moment with us, but have worked toward it. Charles Casiano and Kathy Apodaca. Thank you. Though all of them are in memoriam, and they may not be here to witness the fruition of our labor, their spirit lives on in every brick, every beam, and every corner of this historic landmark. We owe them a great debt of gratitude that can never be fully repaid, but we can honor their memory by ensuring that their legacy endures for generations to come. Today we stand not just as stewards of history, but as guardians of their enduring legacy. If I may be so moved, I would like to take this opportunity to say gratitude, as it has truly taken a village, and I may be one person standing up here, but I represent a larger effort. To all the local, state, and federal delegations, thank you for hearing our story and deciding to champion this story and advocating for more heritage and cultural promotion. To my city council, both past and present, thank you for all believing in our project, creating a vision for the future, and supporting us throughout this endeavor. I am excited to see it now to completion. All of our department heads, thank you for riding the roller coaster ride that has been Victor and Recreation for 10 years. I could never do anything different, but please know I have not been able to get through this without you, especially Esteban, Julio, and Alejandra. As for my city manager, Adriana Rodarte, thank you for believing in us and always championing us and making sure that we had you on our side. To my staff, thank you all for helping us through this tremendous, tremendous endeavor. And last, but certainly not least, I want to thank every member of the community who has supported us along the way. Without your unwavering support, none of this would have been possible, and for that, we are indebted to you all. But today is not about just recognition, it's about the future. The Rio Vista site, once designated, will not only serve as a beacon of history, but also as a hub for community growth and enrichment. With the construction underway, we envision a place that not only serves to promote and protect our education, but also enhances the quality of life for all who call Socorro home. As we look ahead, I am reminded of lyrics from a song, Qué bonito que nos encontramos, más bonito si nos abrazamos. Nadie nos creía, pero lo logramos. Ha sido difícil, pero aquí estamos. These words encapsulate the journey we've undertaken, the challenges we faced, and the doubters we've overcome, and the unity that has propelled us forward. And so, as we prepare to unveil the plaques that will forever mark Rio Vista as a National Historic Landmark, please let us remember the significance of this moment. Let us cherish our history, celebrate our culture, and embrace the bright future that lies ahead. Let us continue to preserve and protect the legacy of our Latino heritage for generations to come. Again, thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Enjoy this festival, partake in the food, music, and fun. We have all deserve it. At this time, may I please have the unveiling of the plaques. For media, we will be having interviews right after this, and the plaques are already adhered to the building if you want a shot of the real plaque. What we will unveil in front of you is the mock-up, but the real ones are already on the building. Again, we want to thank the National Park Service and all of our partners, as this is the first time we've ever had an English and a Spanish plaque dedicated to a project. On that one. Again, thank you all so much.